Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike, the intern, Ned Reynolds, in the studio on a Thursday morning. I'm not huge on prop betting, but I got a notification yesterday that it was like 1,000 to 1 that Cooper was going to go first.
Well, you would have won $1.
No, less than that. You may have had to pay just to play that dollar for those odds. But is he a Maverick now?
He is. And I'm sure he hasn't signed all the documents, so that's merely a foregone conclusion. It's Cooper Flagg is who you're talking about. Number one draft choice, and the Dallas Mavericks, who had, by a ping pong ball lottery, I love this, they had a 1.8% chance of winning the thing, and they won. So they get the first pick, and Cooper Flagg's a very, very good basketball player. All-America Duke, Player of the Year. The guy, he's just a natural pro. He's 7'1", and he moves like a six-footer out there. He's a very, very good player. He'll help. The second choice, I should say, was Dylan Harper of Rutgers. He went to the San Antonio Spurs. Good player, good scorer. V.J. Edgecombe from Baylor was the third pick by the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, there were several teams that did not have draft choices because of trades and so forth and so on. But many of them might, this is kind of disturbing on an international standpoint, come from France. And the French Olympic team was really, really good. And they have a lot of them in the NBA, and they'll all play in the Olympics versus the USA. Anyway, many in that first round. Second round tonight, I've got to tell you, this is not, to me as a reporter, terrible thing to have to admit, but I'm not watching this. I'm not compelled to watch it. It just doesn't excite me at all. But be that as it may, there are many who are enthralled with it.
I know what does excite you, and that's good pitching. And yesterday there was a pretty good matchup between two young studs.
And how fortuitous that it was in the afternoon. And the game is on, you stream, it's on the Major League Baseball Network, but it was a dandy. Paul Skeens of Pittsburgh against Jacob Mezorowski of the Milwaukee Brewers. Skeens, of course, out of LSU. Number one pick last year, 2 years ago, actually. And he is nothing short of outstanding. Unfortunately for Skeens, he does not have a real good backup to the team. Mizorowski, who disdained Oklahoma State to go to Crowder Junior College in Neosho, and that's where he starred a couple of years down there. And now, oh my God, this kid, is a big skinny kid. He's about 6'7", 6'6", 6'7", and barely weighs 200 pounds. He's a string bean, but oh my, can he ever throw. He's a Missourian. He's not unknown to this area. All-stater at Grain Valley up in the Kansas City area, and a big-time college choice, but he went to Crowder. Anyway, tough outing for Skeens. Milwaukee wins the game 4-2, and Paul he didn't have it. He allowed 2 walks, and there was a hit and a botched play in the outfield and so forth. So he left. Skeens did in the 4th inning. But Mizorowski, terrific effort indeed. And his 5 scoreless innings, struck out 8 in those 5 innings. He's the real deal. He's a good pitcher. Both of them are. It was entertaining TV.
Definitely was, and I know something else that gets you excited, and that's Wimbledon. When's that start?
Monday. Starts on Monday. They have all the warm-up tournaments that are going on right now. By warm-up, they're not necessarily, they're smaller communities. They have in something Valley outside London, and there are others, but they're on grass courts. And that's the key, because Wimbledon is on grass court, and it gets the players ready for that level of competition. Ball bounces differently on every court, hard surface, on clay surface, on grass surface, and the players, of course, they are pros, but it does get them used to it, and we're set to go. So Monday it all begins on the hallowed courts at Wimbledon.
All this excitement, we better be checking your blood pressure regularly, my friend. They faced off with the Cubs yesterday, and I don't even think the Cardinals showed up, did they?
Actually, they had a bit of a makeshift lineup in there. Not totally. Most of the regulars did play, but there were some who were given the night off to rest, and got off to a terrible start. Eric Fetty on the hill for the Cardinals. First pitch lands in the seats in right field. Home run. That's Ian Happ, who does hit a lot of home runs. And already it's 1-0. The Cubs hit 2 more home runs. Fetty gave up 7 runs on 8 hits in 3 2/3 innings, and that's the ball game. Cardinals could not counter. They had only 4 hits on the night. Cubs win it by a score of 8-0, and they play again this afternoon. This is the getaway game, frequently on Thursday or Wednesday, depending on what the travel schedule is. Teams will play afternoon games to give them a head start. Well, Cardinals are going to Cleveland to play the Guardians this weekend, so they will leave St. Louis right after that game. The problem is it's an afternoon game. Why is that a problem? Oh, boy. It is going to be toasty up there in St. Louis this afternoon. So we'll see what happens. Cardinals and the Cubs, final game of their 4-game series this afternoon.
You know, it's going to be a long game when the first pitch is a banger. All right, Kansas City Royals, are we righting the ship yet, or are we still just dealing with the same problems?
They are having an awful time hitting the baseball. And it's funny because it's a good lineup, a terrific lineup. But they managed only 3 hits off the no-name Tampa Bay Rays, led by Drew Rasmussen, Rasmussen was an All-America at Oregon State. He's a good pitcher and all that, but geez, the Royals simply cannot hit. All 3 runs by Tampa Bay came in the second inning off Michael Wacha. Otherwise, he shut the team out. But you've got to get some offense going, and Kansas City simply cannot get that done. As a result, they lose the game to Tampa Bay, 3-0. Tampa Bay, folks, I promise you, you take a look at that lineup, and unless you're a really astute baseball fan, you wouldn't recognize any of those names. They're young, they're not headliners at all, but all they are doing is challenging the New York Yankees for first place in the American League East, and they do every year. It's a low-budget team. They're playing in a spring training stadium down in St. Petersburg. Actually, it's in Tampa. But it's the Yankees spring training home because the Rays home was badly damaged by a hurricane last September. Now think about this. All these factors against Tampa Bay, and they're still challenging for the lead. Now, the Springfield Cardinals are over in Wichita, and they got blasted last night 10-1 by the Wichita Wind Surge. So with the second half of the season underway, Springfield hasn't won yet, but don't worry, they will. They're too good not to.
Did you see the promotion the Springfield Cardinals are doing?
I have not.
Is your name Bobby
Bonilla?
Bobby Bonilla.
Is this his day? Yes. No, it's July 1st.
Yeah.
July 1st. This is a great story, folks.
I read that Bonilla thing yesterday, and I immediately texted my boys over there, and I said, this is probably one of the best promotions you guys have ever come up with.
Well, and it goes until 2032, I think it is, and he makes a big deal out of all this. He gets, folks, $1 million a year. $1 million, that's what his contract called for. He retired. Bonilla retired in 2001 or 2002, somewhere around there. And he gets $1 million a year right up until 2032. It's part of his contract. And he has a big party to celebrate it. So would I.
But bottom line is the Springfield Cardinals are putting it out there like if Bobby wants to come throw the first pitch or anyone named Bobby Bonilla, it's Bobby Bonilla Day, you get to throw out the first pitch at the ballpark.
Here's a trivia question. When he was injured with the Cardinals in 2001, do you know who replaced him? Albert.
Yep. And that's the whole thing about him is that Cardinals Nation needs to thank this guy and be happy to pay him $1 million to 2030, whenever it is. Because we got a guy named Albert Pujols when he went down.
Who has only 703 career home runs, thank you. Good gracious.
Yeah. All right, well, good on them. Last but not least, we still have a little bit of golf being played in the state of Missouri. How's that going?
This is the Missouri Amateur. They're playing up in Columbia, and today begins match play. The tournament is medal play for qualifying. That's 2 rounds on Tuesday and Wednesday. And now those who qualified, and there were 64 players and ties, they qualify for the match play, which begins today. So the field goes from 64 to 32 in one day, and then right on down to the championship on Sunday when the final 2 are around. Medalist play complete. And the kid from Mount Vernon, Preston Richardson, he finished 3rd in the qualifying, so he's right up there. He's playing... What they do is when they seed him, the top player in the qualifying is number 1, final player, number 64, plays number 1. So theoretically it should work out as strength versus weakness, but it isn't because all these players are really, really good.
Yeah, don't let the amateur word fool you. They know how to play. Ned, have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.